What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Unplayable. This is the Conversation Lab. I'm DHaus here with Mike and Jim. We're here to talk about Star Wars Unlimited pre-releases and news and all the good things. And guys, how does it feel that pre-release weekend just happened? We've got product, we've got friends. There's so much hype. How you feeling?
I didn't have any friends before pre-release, but now I have friends.
I was gonna say, you guys have friends? Yeah, I mean, I want more. That's all I can say. Like I did 3 pre-releases, and then I actually went over to my parents' house that my brother's staying at right now, and we played our own little pre-release, just the two of us. We just opened a couple pre-release boxes and built sealed decks. So I've done 4 sealed decks now, and I want to do them every night of the week for the next like 2 months, and it was just super fun.
Yeah, I remember leaving one. I did 3 as well, and I left one of them and immediately met up with 2 other friends, and Buddy and I taught them the game, and we were supposed to be playing Magic Commander. Barely did. Mostly was talking Star Wars. It was awesome.
That's awesome.
Nice. Soon that will just be Twin Sons.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
that's like the slow progression. We're working on them.
I've already got a Twin Sons night planned on Friday, so
that's awesome.
I can't wait.
Dope. Dope. I was talking it up with a lot of people because no one there had played any Twin Sons at any of the pre-releases, and I'm like, it's so great. I'm like, just plan to make a Twin Sons deck and bring it because it's so fun. Yeah, I got to do 3 pre-releases here, and it was hard. There were so many happening around the Chicago suburbs in the city, and I mean, at all times, any day. There's one tonight. There's one tomorrow night.
Boo-hoo. Too much choice.
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like,
that's why he moved to Chicago. So,
but
yeah,
literally,
I'm gonna move there just for the Star Wars Unlimited scene.
That's my goal. Come on, guys, come on over. But seriously, there's one tonight and there's one tomorrow night. And I was like, "Are you coming?" I'm like,
man, that's awesome.
I was like, dude, I wish I could. I need to like recharge those wife points before I start cashing in again, you know? So.
Same. There's a draft happening at one of the stores this coming weekend, but it's like an hour away from me, and I can't. I won't have accumulated enough points by then to be able to spend them that fast.
It's the game outside the game that we all play.
Exactly.
If you're married. All right. Well, so obviously we're going to talk a lot about pre-releases, and Jay was supposed to be here. He had a work thing that came up, so hopefully we'll get his reactions as well. But before we jump into that, literally like an hour ago or something, we got some news from GAMA down in Jim's good old state of Kentucky.
It's in Kentucky now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! I feel like
I don't know if it's normally there.
I think it's normally in Reno.
Oh.
I'd probably rather go to Kentucky, and I've never been to Kentucky, but I've been to Reno, and I don't want to go back.
But yeah, so you know, obviously the only thing we've known about Shadows of the Galaxy Set 2, which is weird to even be saying, is that we know that the Mandalorian and Moff Gideon are the starter deck leaders. But what we got today was the Gamegenic accessories for Set 2. So again, no cards, and I think we're all fine with not getting any cards. We don't need cards right now, but we got to see some accessories, and
they're spicy.
They look good. So the first 2 slides I'm looking at, I see the classic Star Wars Unlimited card backs, the sleeves, but it has the green and the yellow treatment for...
Okay, I want to talk about this for a second, because I am a full convert. I love these sleeves. Mm-hmm. I'm going to use them for my Star Wars Unlimited collection, and I will make a video about that. But also, I like the green sleeves the best now that I've seen them, and I'm going to have to wait until Set 2 to buy like a crap load of sleeves to just sleeve everything in those green ones.
It's so true. The sleeves really did. They've held up. I've played a ton with them since we did the community celebration, and they've held up great. And I've been taking cards out back in for like every release and stuff.
Same. Yeah.
And they're
so good.
I'd say the only issue I've had is a couple of them like will have like a spot on it that you can kind of tell what's going on, but it's like maybe 2 of my sleeves out of the like 4 packs that I've bought so far. like
a mark on it, or like your like
it's a mark that like would be noticeable. Like I wouldn't feel good about bringing that to a tournament because I would technically know what was there.
Yeah, that's fair. But there's a couple of mine that where the printing is offset just like a tiny bit, and there's like a little bit of a red around like the Star Wars logo, which again, it's like that's another topic that we should talk about at some point. Is like in the organized play rules, you can bring I think like single color opaque sleeves or the official Gamegenic Star Wars Unlimited sleeves. But if the official sleeves are not 100% uniform across all the sleeves, like, is it dicey to bring those sleeves to a big event when, you know, technically they're not all 100% like the same? I don't know how that's going to play out, but we'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah.
The way that they feel and the way that they look, I love that. But if they're going to cause problems in organized play, then that's a big issue.
Yeah. Well, those aren't the only sleeves that they showed. They showed some Moff Gideon sleeves, some Mandalorian sleeves, which the Mandalorian is getting shot at. Looks so good. But we also got Kylo Ren and Rey sleeves, which I'm just looking at Kylo's right now, and the red from the lightsaber is like,
it's so sick.
Like, wow, that's so good.
I have to say, I was surprised to see Kylo and Rey. I thought they would take it more, because I know the first set, it's been a big focus on like episodes 4, 5, and 6.
Yeah.
So I thought they were going to stay in like order that they were released and go to like 1, 2, and 3. But seems like maybe that might not be the case. We'll see. Maybe they just double up. But
it's not even
set 3 is called Twilight of the Republic, which I think sort of hints at it being prequel related.
Yeah,
because I know Star Wars so well, I know what that reference is, so that's helpful.
Like the end of the Republic, like, you know, episode 1, 2, and 3.
Oh boy! Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! We need like a soundboard for every time Jim doesn't know something Star Wars, something that we can just hit.
Well, you want to know what the sound is, so
we'll just play sounds of random creatures in the Star Wars universe and see if I can identify them.
Jim to guess them. Yeah,
there we go. Yeah, that is interesting too. It makes you wonder what the focus of set 2 is going to be.
The shadows,
but
of the galaxy.
Well, okay. Let me ask you: do you feel like in Spark of Rebellion there were a lot of Return of the Jedi pieces to it?
There's Gamorrean Guard. There's Luke. I don't know.
Did it seem
Lando? No, that's episode 5.
Yeah,
but yeah, fewer probably, I would say.
Because that's why I guess in my head I was thinking, oh, maybe Return of the Jedi would be the next segment. Because Bib Fortuna's in it. Yeah, maybe okay.
Yeah.
The more I think about it, maybe
Jabba's in it.
It's just I guess there were no Ewoks, so that's why I didn't.
Sure.
I didn't assume there was something.
They're hiding under the surface. Don't you worry.
Okay. Set 2 is all about the Ewoks because the Ewoks are the shadow of the galaxy.
That's good.
I thought it was just like low flying ships the whole time, but yeah.
Literally creating shadows.
I cannot. All right, so they also released soft crates, or they showed off the soft crates, same art as the sleeves. Have you guys messed with the soft crates at all? I haven't touched any. Like, I don't know how
I have
the quality.
So the ones that I looked at were the ones that Gamegenic sent me, which if anybody's not seen that video, go watch that video. And they're good. Video. I mean, if you've played with any of the soft crates that exist, like I don't know, when I was younger, I had like the upper deck ones where it like said upper deck like on the front, and you'd put your like Pokemon card, you know, deck in there. Like they only like that was basically the only like deck box option that existed. It feels nicer than those. It's bigger than those, and it has like a little token box inside, which is really nice. Quality of the printing looks good. The material is good. Yeah. I mean, honestly, I have like nothing bad to say about them other than the fact that they are not the deck pod, and the deck pods are just like, the goat.
Oh gosh, you're sorry. Yep.
What's gonna happen when they get like artwork on the deck pods for like leaders and such?
Ooh. That'd be wild.
You get your top 8 world deck pod, David.
Oh, if they made OP like specific like deck pods,
that'd be nice.
Give me. I want a solid gold deck pod.
There you go.
Like a shiny gold deck pod that I only get for spending 10,000 tickets at the prize wall.
That's good.
Yeah, definitely super exciting news there for all the new releases, and just they did it well as far as giving us just enough.
We're not done yet. Quit cutting it off, Jim. We've got game mats, people, and this is the most exciting part to me. We've got the Mandalorian with the Darksaber.
Yeah, that art is so good.
I saw that. I was like, oh, dang, that's what I need. But then
it's getting real.
You don't get the whole image. But in this image, you've got the Rancor on a playmat. And I don't know. I've got this weird soft spot in my heart for the Rancor because Return of the Jedi is my favorite. So
same. When I don't know if you remember this, but when we were doing Jedi trials, like the one thing that I always wanted in Destiny was a Malakili character.
Oh yeah.
So that I could pair it with the Rancor. Because when I was a kid and I watched that scene, I felt so bad for the dude because his his best friend, his pet just died.
Yeah.
That just always resonated with me. And I don't know, maybe next set we'll get those, and I will have my dreams fulfilled.
I love it. A Rancor leader.
Yes.
Just growling.
That would be pretty sweet.
You can deploy in space or ground.
Ooh.
He just jumps that high.
Yeah, I'm super excited about that. That's cool. I did not expect any kind of news out of Gamma. I just thought it'd be more set 1 is out, and yeah, but
pretty exciting. What they didn't show off were Twin Suns related products for accessories. And I would love to see that at some point, have them do tokens that are, plan and blast tokens along with maybe a Twin Suns specific deck box.
Sure. We did have a good conversation about Twin Suns with game designer John. If you didn't see that, be sure to go back on our YouTube feed and you can hear more about Twin Suns and all the things that are happening with that. But I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully it happens.
Yeah. I mean, if they already did you can buy a Spark of Rebellion initiative token, I would imagine they've already worked with Gamegenic to some capacity, but we'll see.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah. All right. Shall we talk about pre-releases and your pre-release weekend?
Let's do it.
All right. What we're not going to do is we're not going to get into all of our individual games and all of the win-loss records and this and that and everything. But we are going to talk about our impressions.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah. Yeah. No one needs to know how many games Mike won with the
Just
same
pretend
deck
like we all lost
0.
every game and it's fine.
Yeah. We're going to talk about some kind of generic categories. And first thing I want to know from your pre-release experiences, what was your best card that you pulled? Jim?
Yeah, I'll go first on that one. Honestly, I didn't feel like I had anything too crazy. And I would say my best was a Hyperspace Devastator was the coolest thing that I pulled. I haven't used the capital ships too much. I just feel like they're way too costly, but it was still pretty sweet to see a legendary pop up in the Hyperspace.
Yeah.
So it was cool.
Nice.
Sweet. Mike?
I had absolutely terrible hack luck.
A Hyperspace Rebel Pathfinder.
Yeah, basically. So I did pull a Hyperspace Mace Windu, and that was super cool. I was very excited about that. Cool. But I counted across 36 packs. I opened 4 total legendaries.
Nice.
I opened Avenger. I opened the Mace Windu. I opened Black One, and I opened one other card that I can't even remember because it wasn't that exciting. I think a Vigilance or something like that. And that was it. No cool rare Hyperspace foils. No, nothing. My favorite card that I came home with, I didn't even open, but my sister-in-law opened a Hyperspace foil for a cause, and she hooked me up with that. So yeah, that was the most exciting card that I brought home. It looks so good. Yeah, it looks so sick.
I think I told you this, but I did trade 2 Hyperspaces for a Hyperspace for cause because it just looked good. And I'm like, I feel like this card will be, something that'll be played a lot. But
oh yeah,
it's funny because I traded my Hyperspace Super Laser Tech and a Hyperspace Resupply to a local. His name's Griffin, but literally I did that trade and I went home and I opened the packs I won from the event, and first pack I opened a Hyperspace Super Laser Tech, so I got it right back.
No way.
Yeah.
This guy.
That's
so
awesome.
I was like, man, I do feel like I had the golden touch with my packs this weekend.
What'd you pull, David?
I got my Showcase Krennic,
nice.
which was hype. It was
that will hopefully be mine soon.
Yes, that is a possibility. The funny part was at pre-release 1, we were getting our boxes. And I always get in my head about picking the right pack out of a box or the box, whatever. So I was like, you know what? Another local, his name's Matthew. I was like, Matthew, you pick my box because I'm just going to let you choose. Then I can't, blame myself for picking the wrong one. He got me a box, and I opened in my first pack. It was a foil Luke legendary unit.
Sick.
Which was awesome. It was just.
Did you open those in the same pool?
No, this is a different one. This
okay, different pre-release.
Yeah, all of my pre-releases. I think I got at least 2 legendaries in each pre-release box.
Wow.
What is this luck?
Okay,
legendaries.
But in Minnesota, the community celebration, if you remember, I opened my box and only got 2 legendaries,
That's
and
true.
I had to pull one in a draft to get 3 total out of 30 packs. So it all evens out.
Yeah.
But so anyway, so then pre-release number 2, my buddy Corey, who Mike you met at Gen Con, he was hanging, he stopped by, but I said something like, Corey, you pick my box and you bring over. He's like, wait, I don't do that. You do that for me. I was like, no way, you do it. And he grabbed it and he had his 2 boxes and he looked at him and he handed me one. And so we just start cracking packs. And sure enough, that was my showcase Krennic box. And Corey like loves Krennic and Blue Villain and everything, and it just he was like, it was in my hand.
He stole the man's card. What a menace.
Evil David.
But I definitely screamed. Like, it was one of those like involuntary, like it was literally like I just look at the pack and I screamed. I was like, oh my gosh. And there were a ton of new players who were like, what's a showcase? I was like, all right, well,
there are a lot of new players at all the pre-releases that I went to, which was really cool to see. There were multiple people who were like, oh yeah, I found out about this game yesterday and just saw the pre-release was happening and decided to show up. Like,
same.
It's so cool to see.
Same here. Yeah. So anyways, that was my best pull for sure.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
It's a pretty good one.
All right. So speaking of new players, talk to me about your best interaction with new players. Like, what were you hearing from their take about the game, either before the tournament, after the tournament, or the pre-release or whatever? And what kind of perspective do you feel like these new players are bringing in for those who have been obsessing about the game for the last 12 months or however long we've known about this game?
I think from the gameplay perspective, it was a lot of like not totally understanding the deck building aspect of it, as far as like, oh, well, I'm going red, so I can put hero and villain because it's red and that works. So there's a little bit of confusion there. But as far as like how they felt about the game as a whole, I remember like one of the events that I went to, there's like 32 people that came to it, which was phenomenal. And like after we were done with like a pretty long day of playing games, they were like, wait, can we keep playing? Like, they were just loving That's awesome. So much that they were like, I know I have responsibilities, but I don't want to do those responsibilities. Can I just like hang? And that was probably the coolest thing to me. Like that same experience that like we had in Minnesota, where we just wanted to stay up all night and just like jam games and just like hang out with people. They like, the rest of the community is getting to experience that now. And it's like so pure and so cool. So yeah, it wasn't like necessarily one specific instance with one person who has this like, aha, I love Star Wars moment, but it's definitely like as a whole, it's like everyone seemed to really enjoy the gameplay, like more so than they thought they would.
Yeah, I pretty much didn't hear anything other than positivity. Everybody was just like really excited to be playing and opening packs and hanging out and learning. No weird like interactions with people not understanding things and then getting mad. Like everybody was super understanding and really friendly towards like newer players, which I think is really important. So I'm glad that, you know, at least at the events that I went to, there wasn't anybody who was just trying to like, you know, spike all the new people and like what's the point of that? You just like shut down your community before it even starts. So it's like, even if there were players that knew what they were doing a little bit more than others, it's, you know, everybody's still friendly, everybody's still like learning from each other and trying to help people understand how the game works. And I don't know, it was just super fun, super positive. I didn't have any like weird interactions at all the whole time, which was great. There were a couple, I don't want to say like unexpected people like that. That sounds weird, but like when you're playing card games, you're playing these kind of TCGs, like there's a certain type of person that I feel like is at all of them. Like you know sort of the archetype of like who a TCG player is. And maybe there's a few different archetypes of a TCG player, but I don't know. It's sort of, if anybody's been to a lot of TCG events, you know what I'm talking about. But at the first one that I went to, there was a woman who must have been like 65 years old, and she was just playing along with the rest of us. And I thought that was really awesome. Like, I don't know how much like it really matters necessarily, like who is part of the community, but I just thought it was cool that like an unexpected sort of archetype of a person was there and having a good time and sort of like, you know, was playing on the same level as everybody else. It was just kind of cool to see. And then at the second pre-release that I went to, I brought my sister-in-law and her boyfriend. Both of us were like, yeah, you'll probably be the only girl there, because it's just not as common, unfortunately, in this space. And we got there and there were, I think, 2 or 3 other like women there playing, which was really cool to see, because I think, you know, diversity of the community is important. And I wish that there was more of that. I wish that like we could find more ways to bring in a different and more, broader group of people rather than just the people who've just always been playing TCGs forever. So that's the only way that like the space is really going to grow, is by bringing in completely new people.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, speaking of that, my new player experience, I invited a few guys who have no TCG background at all.
Mhm.
So them experiencing it was interesting, not just teaching them Star Wars Unlimited, but even like teaching them like pairings for a tournament, like a Swiss tournament pairing. Like they just assume, oh, it's just random, like you just pick someone and play. Oh no, they assign you, and then it was like, I was like, oh, and then they randomly assign again, like, well, no, it's based on your record. Like, oh, I'm playing, like little things like that. I take for granted that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was like, oh gosh, I guess, yeah, if you've never experienced that, that would be interesting. Because when I was like, man, I'm just playing all the best players, I was like, no, you're playing along with like whoever has the best record as you. And so,
yeah.
But I did have similar interactions with several people who said, oh yeah, I just found out about this game last week or last night, or I read through the rules last night at 11 p.m. and decided to show up today for this thing. And, he's cracking his packs and he's like, how do I even sort these? Or like, and we're talking about hero villain. He's like, how do you know what's a hero and a villain? And like, little things. I'm like, hey, all right, cool. Like I'll sit and like help you figure this out. And we kind of built his deck together. And then he's like, okay, I did play Yu-Gi-Oh! And I know like you shouldn't play that much more than 30 cards. Like what would you cut from this this thing? So
hello there.
And as you guys have all seen, Jay just rudely interrupted this fine podcast, and the trash levels are overflowing at this level. Jay, welcome back to the Conversation Lab.
Ago.
It was not respectable. I'm making it more respectable and less trash.
It's like, I wonder how many people are now tuning in and how many people are now tuning out. Jay has a specific following.
We'll look at the video, the analytics, and we'll report back.
You guys are gonna learn today, Coach.
Well, if nobody knows that you joined the episode halfway through, you're not going to see a spike halfway through the episode.
The first comment is like a timestamp of like, "Hey, the real podcast begins."
It's going to be Jay's comment.
Yeah. Right. Don't give him ideas.
It's going to be a fake account though, so you're never going to know it was me.
We'll never know.
All right, we're talking about our interactions with new players and their new player perspective on the game, and after playing it, experiencing it. The really cool thing for me is there was one guy at 2 of the 3 same pre-releases that I went to who was one of those who just found out about the game a week ago. His name was Kevin. He watched, I think, Jim's video on like pre-release stuff. He apparently between Friday and Sunday, he watched a ton of our videos, but he won both. He won Friday night and Sunday.
Wow, nice.
Like
that's awesome.
He has like very natural ability. I think he had like Hearthstone in his background and like the WoW TCG and some other stuff. But
nice.
But it was really cool. On Sunday, I sent you guys this, but he had this amazing Darth Vader pool of a deck with like double Force Throw, double Force Lightning from the same pack, double Super Laser Tech. It was just like, it was so cool. I kept saying, like, man, congratulations. He's like, no, it was just my deck. I'm like, no, you still have to figure out how to sequence this and do it in the right order. He did beat me. I know we're not going to get into the games, but this was such a funny moment. At the end of game 2, I had him down to 24 damage, and he was on the Conversation Lab.
That's how Mike feels about your game.
Oh, Mike just left the recording. This is going to be such a janky edit.
Mike's the one that has to deal with it, so.
And we're back. We had a little technical difficulties. Somehow Jay got on the call. Somehow Mike got kicked off the call. I'm waiting for Jim to drop dead. I don't know.
Oh my God.
We're just having lots of issues.
That's dark.
What a stretch.
I'll just drop the call. It's okay.
Absolute.
Something's going to happen. I don't know. YouTube does not want this content out there. But anyways, we're just going to go ahead, and it's taken forever. We're going to move on to our next question. From your pre-release sealed experience, what was your overperforming card of the weekend?
Ooh, that's a good one. Do you want me to go
question?
First?
If you got it.
It's the so I played Sabine on Sunday, and I had like 3 cards: the Jedha Agitator, and then the spaceship that if you had control a leader unit and it attacks, you get to exhaust one of your opponents. That dude was so clutch in Sabine, because Sabine comes out so early for sealed, and it's really hard for them to deal with that. So like I would drop that on turn 2, and then turn 3 I would flip Sabine. I'd be able to attack in, exhaust one of their things, and just like keep doing that the whole game if they don't have any space units to deal with it. So that dude was pretty sick. And then the Jetta Agitator, the same concept. So those are some big ones.
Yeah.
I remember for mine, Wedge did absolute work for me in one of my sealed pools.
Nice.
Because so there, a lot of the neutral cards are vehicles. And so it was giving them buffs and just putting in absolute work against my opponents. And it was like there was nothing they could do to really stop it. And it snowballed very quickly. So that was the one that I was like, I knew he was good, but shocked me at just like how many games I won with him.
Nice.
Love that. Mine was Vigilant Honor Guards.
Nice.
It's a common. It's a common, and being able to play that, especially in this format where you could play Luke and you could play it, and if they don't immediately damage it, you could potentially shield it on the turn you're bringing Luke out. Just felt just like oppressive. Like it was so good. But even in one tournament, I did play Chariot, and even just it coming out the same round as Chariot felt really, really good. And so multiple times I had multiple of these guys, and it's a 4/6. So if you are damaging it without an event or something and turning off the Sentinel, you're probably losing a unit to just trying to damage it, but it's probably not dying because it's 6 health. So it just did a ton of work for me.
Nice. I think mine is the Corellian Freighter.
Interesting.
It was just simple, right?
Sentinel.
Like, yeah, just Space Sentinel at the right cost, at the right stats. And I had a couple of pools where the space options were pretty weak, and that guy got me out of some jams. So yeah, I was surprised at sort of how relevant it was in those games, but it was quite good.
Nice.
What about you, David? Oh yeah, you already said Vigilant
I did mine.
Guards.
I know you fell asleep and you slept through it, but I already went, Jay.
I think any Sentinel in this in sealed and draft is like super good.
Agreed.
Yeah, 100%. All right, the last question I had down was just any hot takes, or I'll even settle for like warm takes. It doesn't have to be like super spicy habanero hot. It could just be like Cholula hot.
All right, my hot take for just all of pre-release, and maybe all pre-releases going forward, is that the format is trash. And I don't mean the format itself, but I don't think it should be best of 3. I think it should be best of 1, like 35 or 40 minute rounds.
Agreed.
Because almost every single pre-release that I went to, I had at least one game that went to time, and it seemed like at least half of the games that were being played went to time, and whoever won the first game won the whole thing, which is unfortunate and incentivizes slow play on the second game. Because if you're the person who won the first game, it incentivizes you to like play super slow so that you draw the second game and then you just win the series, which I think is dumb, especially at a pre-release when people are learning the game. It's really hard to get 3 games in that time frame with like super inefficient decks for people who are brand new to the game. Like,
technically, you both are supposed to lose.
Yeah, but if you win the first game,
if someone
then
won
you
the first
win
game,
the best out of 3 because you won the first game. You both lost the second game.
I thought the whole big thing is that if you don't finish the best of 3, then both players get a loss.
No, that's not accurate.
Oh, interesting.
So I don't like it. I don't think it makes any sense, especially for a pre-release where people are still learning how to play the game and are going to be slow. You have people that are like literally reading how all of the cards work while they're playing. It's not supposed to be a like super competitive event, so best of 3 doesn't really like need to exist.
Yeah,
I feel like a lot of events that I went to, it's like they started at 5 and they ended at like 10:30, and like that feels like a really long time for something like that. So I would push in the future for best of 1 games. So let's say 40-minute rounds. That's it. Like keep it casual, keep it light, keep it fun. Like
I like that. I totally agree. I think the only sour moments of the whole weekend were when we had to go up to a table of new players and say like, hey, time's been called, and here like, can anybody
here's
win
what happens. You both
by the
lose.
next action phase? Like I had so many looks like, what? I'm like,
I mean, there were games that didn't even make it past the first game. Like there were rounds that didn't make it past the first game. And it's like that's going to happen when you have 2 people who are literally brand new to the game trying to figure it out as they go.
Yeah, and if you're playing someone like Iden Versio, who like wants a longer game anyways.
Yeah.
So I totally agree with that take. I would much rather have best of 1, and then if it ends early, it's like, all right, then let's
just play more
crack
for
some
fun.
packs and let's play more for fun, or play Twin Suns, or like whatever. Just do, I don't know. It'll obviously be different for set 2 than this like brand new thing, but I do agree.
Even then, like you hopefully have brand new people coming in every set.
Well, true,
right?
true,
So.
yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
That's good. My hot take is IG88 is fire in limited.
Oh my
That's
gosh.
a very hot take.
Guys, absolute fire. The only negative against him is that you could also take Vader in that format, and so comparing IG to Vader, it was like, oh gosh. But
Vader's
in the pool
good.
that I had, I had like a very just low cost curve thing, and I got pretty close to going undefeated when I lost. I was trying to explain this earlier when we got cut off, but I had the Vader ECL player Kevin, new player, down to 24. I got 24 damage on his base, and I had Imperial Raider out, and all I had to do was attack his unit or like attack the base or anything. And or no, he had a Sentinel out, and so I was like, okay, I'm one action away, and he plays Force Lightning, which removes all the abilities from Imperial Raider. And I was like,
that's sweet.
And then he had enough damage to like finish me off, and I was like, dude, that was a pro move right there. And I'm so glad you're playing this game, and I lost. It's awesome. It's a great way to lose. But yeah, I really enjoyed IG88. I never thought I'd say that, but I liked it in draft. I got a lot of value out of his ability, so I think it's just he could be a little harder to kill, you know, unless you got the open fires and some of that stuff. I mean, if you get Sentinel stuff to protect him, you could get an easy 10 damage out of him by deploying him at the right time and then attacking early. So I like him in limited. I don't even know if draft would be good because you could draft better than sealed. So maybe it's just IG88 is good in sealed.
Fair. My hot take is going to be Vader is the best sealed leader, and going forward at every pre-release, one of the leaders that are in the 2-player set will be the best leader in sealed for pre-release.
Wow.
I mean, I would agree that Vader is the best, but I don't know if I can extrapolate that to cards that we don't know down the line in the future.
I can.
There we go. We'll come back to this in a year for sure.
That's right.
Well, somebody clip this.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. My hot take was also going to be leader based, and that is Jin Urso is not an S tier limited leader like a lot of folks are saying. That was easily my worst event, was playing Jin. I felt like I had a pretty decent deck, and just it was fine for what it did, but making good trades, there's just too much that could beat that, and not really enough spice there to actually make work. So I'm sure somebody had just the perfect Jin Urso deck of all time. Wasn't me, that's for sure. And I don't think it's good enough to be considered top of the meta for the old limited format here.
Any other hot takes? We don't have to end at just one. If there were anything else anything else, hold on.
My first take was so hot, it burned away all the other takes that I had.
I did want, like, the playmat thing, the rule about the playmats. That was something.
Sure. Yeah.
That's not exclusive to like pre-release or sealed though.
Yeah. That's true.
I mean, it definitely wasn't enforced at any of the pre-releases that I went to.
No.
I'll tell you that much.
Some guys definitely joked about, oh, that's a match loss. But it's like okay.
Yeah, I think that's
when I dropped my unplayable mat.
Really terrible rule.
Yep.
That they've implemented.
My other hot take is, in this time of a game after the pre-release weekend, you're gonna hear some doom and gloom people saying, "Oh, I only had 3 people at mine. Game's dead." Yeah. And just don't believe anecdotal bias. Even on the best side, like, it's never as good as people trying to make it out to be. It's never as bad as people make it out to be. It's always somewhere in the middle. So just be aware. If you're in big Discords or big Facebook groups, I feel like that's where that stuff just lives. And so
there's your first problem.
Yes. Well, it's also on Discord. Okay. It really is.
It depends so heavily on the store and the people that go to that store. Because there was quite a few pre-releases around me within like a 45-minute radius. And it's like one of them had like 20, one had 8, one had like 12, and then one had 2. It's like you can't judge one store having 2 people show up for like the whole of the game, or even the community in the area.
Maybe nobody likes that store.
Yeah, or they didn't promote it, or they didn't say they were going to do a pre-release until the day before, which definitely happened down here.
Same in Kentucky. No more hot takes. I think just in closing, just like, I don't know, this weekend was just so fun, and just thinking about like all the people I met, all the like new friends that just like love this game. Like I wish I could shout out like all of the people that came, introduced themselves, and brought some games. It was super sick. So just wanted to shout out holistically all the crews there.
That's a good point. I do want to shout out. After I met some people at these events that realized I was part of the Unplayable crew. They're like, a lot of them were like, "Oh, I didn't know that you were in this area or whatever." Because I guess we don't mention specific stores, but I do want to shout out. I do want to shout out my LGS at a Fair Game and Dane's Games here in Geneva, because they hosted great pre-releases, had a great time. Overall experience was phenomenal, top to bottom. So want to give them a proper shout out for the work that they did to get those going.
Yeah, absolutely. The pre-release I went to on Friday night, I had my neighbor and both of his sons came with me, and I had a friend Colby come with me. So we were 5 deep in my truck showing up to this pre-release, which was totally awesome. Like
that's sweet.
That's how you want to experience the game, with a bunch of friends. One of his kids ended up going Palpatine in Sealed. He played Palpatine.
That's fun.
Yellow.
Wow.
And he had Change of Heart. And so he had that, plus he had Palpatine's ability to steal a unit. And there's one more. What's the other like steal
Traitorous?
Unit? Traitorous, yeah. So he had Traitorous, and that. So he was just stealing everybody's units.
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. My favorite play that I made the entire weekend was I was playing Vader Green, and I played Resupply on turn 2, and my opponent played a Super Laser Tech, and then I went first and Traitorous their Super Laser Tech immediately.
Yeah.
Nice.
It felt dirty, but it was I would have been completely wrecked otherwise.
That's so good. That's so good. All right. Well, I think that'll do it for this week's episode of the Conversation Lab. You can expect a lot more Star Wars Limited content from us. I know on YouTube we're almost at 5,000 subs. We might, by the time this goes live, we might actually hit it. It's been insane the last few days of just, I don't even know how many subs we've gotten. I've heard that from a lot of content creators. Like, people are looking for this game, which is super exciting. So if this is your first thing watching our channel, welcome, and hop in our Discord. You can join the conversation, which that's been blowing up too. We're in exciting times for Star Wars Unlimited fans. So I'm super pumped about what's coming. I can't wait to get my boxes on Friday and open some more showcases and play this game. So enjoy your boxes. We'll see you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh my God.
That's not going to be an actual thing.
Happy birthday.
No, it needs to be.
Because I'm not going to use this. I'm not going to use this feed.
Dang it.
Bye, everybody.